Hi, this is Jason Schneiderman for the BMCC Writing Center, and today I'm going to talk you through doing research at the BMCC library in the databases. So if you're like me, your homepage is Google, and you can go from Google straight to the BMCC library. You don't have to go in through the BMCC homepage. And it's the first hit, comes right up. Now, when you get to the BMCC library, you can always ask a librarian a question. So you can email or chat with a librarian anytime, 24 hours a day, if you have questions or if you get stuck or lost. We're going to go in through the databases, and this is where you're going to find reliable information. So rather than kind of going in through Google and getting everything in the world about your subject, this is going to give you articles and things that are written by professionals that you can trust. So we can start browsing by subject. And you're writing a business paper, so let's go to business, economics, and accounting. Okay, so we got a lot of different databases. Now each database has lots of different articles from different journals. So Business Source Complete covers full text over 10,000 business periodicals in the areas of management, economics, finance, marketing, and accounting. So this is going to be information really by business professionals about business professionals. Another way to say that would be that it's sort of by business professors for business professors, but also for students. JSTOR is a very well-known database. It's kind of a lot of different stuff in the humanities. LexisNexis is periodicals that are written for lay people, so just regular stuff like New York Times, the Washington Post, Time Magazine, Newsweek. So let's say you're interested in writing a paper about tourism and China. So let's start with LexisNexis. So let's just see kind of what's going on in the popular press. So this can be a little confusing, but what we want to do is search the news. Um, we don't want to look up a legal case. We don't want to get company info, though we might later. Um, so let's look for China tourism. Let's just look in newspapers for now, just to kind of limit it. And let's see what we get. We can get a lot of hits here. Okay. So editorial from the Honolulu Star Advertiser, Taiwan to set up second cross-strait tourism office in China, BBC monitoring Asia Pacific, China to the rescue of tourism, China leads Asian pact to save struggling industry tourism, that's from Australia, Gold Coast rolls out red carpet for Chinese visit, Chinese landing fresh air for city, state tour of Chinese to Buddhist places. So when you're doing research, part of the reason you have to leave a lot of time is because you have to go through a lot of titles to find what's interesting to you. Gambling, gays taboo in British Columbia marketing material. China Wave on the way, Griffin Group in China. So that might be interesting. Maybe you think, okay, I can research gays and Chinese tourism. Or you might go up here, and I would be interested in this. China leads Asian pact to save a struggling industry, tourism. And so this is from the Sydney Morning Herald in Australia. And China leads Asian pact to save a struggling industry, tourism. And I can read through this, and this will give me an idea of what people are saying about China. I could print this up by clicking on the print button. If I do that, I want to make sure that I write down, it's from LexisNexis, I want to make sure that I write down the date that I've downloaded it, and then I have all the information that I'm going to need for my bibliography. So I want to make sure that I know who wrote it, the title, the source, and I think that's pretty much all the information you'll need. So let's go back and let's look at another database. Let's go back up to the business database from the EBSCO host. So you can see that every database has a slightly different interface, but let's use the same search terms. China, tourism. Okay, on lagging legislation of China tourism, development dilemma in China's national sports tourism industry and countermeasures. In a database like this, where you're getting articles from periodicals, they're going to be a lot longer. In LexisNexis, we were looking at newspapers, so we're finding fairly short things. But these are going to be much larger. So the first step is looking at the title and seeing if the title applies to what you're interested in. The next step would be to look at the abstract. So industry forecast scenario, and here's China tourism report. That sounds interesting. All right, so abstract. And the abstract is just going to give you a brief idea of what the article is about. The article presents a forecast for the tourism industry in China for 2011. It expects foreign exchange earnings to reach 58 billion US dollars by 2020. It cites easing of visa requirements and progressive industry liberalization as contributors to achieving targets for the industry. Particular focus is given to the growth of arrivals according to figures released by China National Tourism Administration. A chart is presented that shows data on tourist arrivals for 2008 to 2015. Okay, so this actually is going to give me a lot of background on tourism in China, what the numbers are, what it looks like. So I do want to look at this article. So I'm going to click on PDF full text. And this is going to give me, PDF by the way stands for portable document file. And it's a way of saving documents so they look exactly the same. Like a Microsoft Word file might open with a slightly different font or different spacing. A PDF will always look the same on every single computer. So here I have the full article. So I can go ahead and print that up. And again, I want to make sure that I've kept track of the information that I'm going to need for my bibliography. I have to make sure I know the database that I got it out of. I need to know the date that I downloaded it. And most of the other information really should be in the PDF, including the author or authors, the name of the journal that it was originally published in, the pages that it's on in that journal. Okay. These are a lot of charts. So again, like this would take me a long time to really sit down and study. I would probably leave at least an hour and a half to make sense of all of this, because this is a lot of information. All right, so let's go look at one more database. Going back to that list of business databases. So I wouldn't go to the business and company ASAP, which gives me information on companies, markets, and industries, until I actually have a company that I want to look up. So let's try Economist, Historical Archives and Economics. So let's see. Oh, this is just the Economist magazine. So I would probably be able to find this information in LexisNexis as well. But The Economist is a really nicely written journal. So let's see if I can find something about China and tourism in The Economist. Let's do that as keywords. Entire document means just if the words appear. Keywords mean that it's actually about that subject. Okay, so from 2006, there's an issue about tourism in China. And you can see this is really just like a scan of the actual page. So let me take a look at that. And this is showing, oh, and this is about Chinese tourists. This is actually not about tourism with people going to China. This is about Chinese tourists traveling in China and going abroad. Oh, this is very interesting. And that's really how research should work. You have a sense of what you're looking for in terms of the subject matter, but you want to be open to discovery. You want to find things out. You don't, after you finish your research, you should know more than when you started your research. And you should be surprised by research. You should find things out that are new to you. Okay, so let's go back to the BMCC library, and I'm just going to get there through Google again, because that's usually the easiest way. And I think that that's everything we're going to do today. All right, this was Jason Schneiderman for the Writing Center. You can also get to the Writing Center through Google, BMCC Writing Center. And we can help you with research, although the research librarians are really the experts on this topic.